Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii Vacation Connection podcast. I'm Bruce, your local travel advisor here in the islands. And today we're going to be tackling one of the biggest questions I hear from first-time visitors, and that is, which island is prettier, Maui or Kauai? Now, on paper, both these islands are just fabulous. They're perfect for dream vacations and destinations. But once you're actually here, the decision kind of gets tricky because Maui and Kauai each have their own unique beauty and splendor. Maui kind of leans towards variety, volcanoes, sweeping beaches, luxury comforts. And Kauai, on the hand, is about like kind of raw, unfiltered nature. We've got lush rainforests and jagged cliffs and wild, secluded beaches over there. So today I'm going to break it down side by side and talk about what kind of beauty you're going to actually experience on each island, because which one is prettier is really subjective and it really depends on your vacation style. But hopefully this is going to help you make the decisions because, I just do this out of love. I am a travel guy. I make a living booking Hawaii vacations, but whether you book with me or not, I'm kind of giving you the free advice I would give anybody that wants to use us for Hawaii vacation. And you can do that just by getting over to our website, hawaii-aloha.com. So Maui, it's got all around beauty. Let's face it. It's like a chameleon. Depending on where you go, it actually changes colors. And it even has kind of a change of vibe like a chameleon does. If you think about the west shores, the south and west shores, you're going to find some of the most beautiful beaches. Wailea is kind of soft golden sand and very swimmable waters down there. And Kaanapali is like the perfect postcard when you think about it. It looks gorgeous, plus shops and dining and activities right at your fingertips. If you go back to my podcast last week, you'll find I did this really pretty good, I think, comparison between Oahu and Maui. So I'm kind of getting the Maui out of it a little bit in these last few podcasts, because I'm doing a series of these compare and contrast type of podcasts. Speaking about this chameleon, this change that you experience in Maui, if you go along the road to Hana, the scenery there completely flips. You're in a rainforest wonderland, if you will. There's waterfalls, there's these beautiful waterfalls kind of spilling over into the cliffs, and you've got the most beautiful bamboo forests, and you have multicolored beaches. You've got black and even red sand beaches down on the road to Hana and in the Hana area. And then if you flip the script again, you go up country Maui, where Haleakala rises over 10,000 feet. At sunrise, the crater completely glows pink. I don't know if you ever have a chance to go there. I was just up there and I did it again. It glows orange and gold, and on clear days you can just even see way out to the neighbor islands. It's pretty incredible. The sunset is incredible. You can actually see two sunsets. If you don't do the sunrise, you can get up to the top, see the sunset, and then drive down to another lookout and see a second sunset. It's pretty crazy what goes on there. So travelers and people that I talk to and that I've been say, if you really want the best of Maui, you've got variety, you've got the volcanoes, you've got rainforests, and you've got all the beaches in one trip. It's kind of a balance of luxury and adventure. And you've got convenience too, because it's dramatically different in different parts of the island, and they're only maybe an hour and a half apart. So let's contrast that a little bit with Kauai, because it's called the Garden Island. And if you think about Kauai, it really doesn't try to be anything that it's not, if that makes sense. And I think that's what makes Kauai so magical. It's the oldest of our Hawaiian islands, so nature's had a lot more time to kind of sculpt it. And the results, when you look at Kauai, and I've said it before, Kauai is absolutely got to be my favorite island. Even though I live on Oahu, I just love it there because every time I go, I see this untouched natural beauty that I keep discovering. It never seems the same when I go. Every time I go back, I feel differently each time I go there, and I experience something new, even though I've gone to these places many times. So up on the North Shore, I've really been pushing that a lot lately, only because I keep going back there and I just keep getting amazed. Honolulu Bay, that whole area, the mountains there. I mean, if you look at the mountains and, it's so green there. It's one of the rainiest places on earth, this whole area up there. And the mountains, when you look there and you see them, they're so like emerald green. And sometimes you can see just waterfalls streaming down after a rain. And it's just spectacular. And then beyond that, the Nepali coast, of course, which I talk a lot about, it shoots straight up from the ocean. And you can just marvel at it. And of course, you can only see this by helicopter, or if you do a hike, or you do the Hanakapiai, or you go down there, you could see this stuff. And then on the west side is another just amazing. It's kind of an explosion of reds and greens and oranges. And, if you get it on a clear day, sometimes you really got to hit it when it's a beautiful clear day. But when you get up there and you can see this, it's just absolutely spectacular. And it's because Kauai, I think, is really less developed. So you're going to often find yourself a little bit in quieter areas if you know where to go to some of these beaches that I've been talking about. And, you can just call me or reach out to me. I'm going to help you with this stuff. And you can find out, and you can kind of really be kind of less crowded away from people if you know what you're doing on Kauai. So basically, when I talk to people and when I go there, it's just this natural drama that people love there. You'll see these landscapes just all over the place. There's smaller crowds, it's kind of a slower pace. And that old Hawaii makes the towns, and those little towns like Koloa and Hanapepe and some of these other little quiet little towns that are in Waimea, you'll find local run shops, and it just feels more local and kind of like everybody knows everybody type of thing. Now, if you talk about beaches, there's variety and seclusion between these two. If beaches are your top priority, and I've said this in our last podcast, and this just comes up a lot, then Maui obviously wins. For just a lot of reasons, but for variety and ease, Kaanapali, Wailea, Kapalua, Makena, all of these places. I mean, the Makena Beach. I mean, it's just these beaches are just amazing on Kauai. So if beaches are your thing and you really want the beaches, then that's an easy thing. Now, whether it's pretty or not, I would have to say yes. I mean, you would probably say that the beaches are a little prettier on Maui, than they are on Kauai. But the beaches on Kauai are pretty stunning too. When you think about some of the beaches there, they're not as wide, but very stunning in the way that they present. And when you go there, Honolulu Bay, obviously the star of the show there, the beaches along there, not Black Rock. Oh, I can't think of the name of the beach right there, right before Honolulu Bay, right there. Those beaches are beautiful. Poipu is beautiful. I mean, let's face it, great for families. Turtles come out. They do those the turtles come out at sunset, and those are certain days. And then in Polihali, what about that beach? Another gorgeous beach. So, there are some gorgeous beaches, but I mean, if beaches are your thing, you're not going to get the same variety of beaches as you will on Maui. And some of the stuff, like some of the beaches along the Coconut Coast, for example, are a little bit sketchy in the sense that there's a lot of coral, so you may want to be careful if you're going to be staying on that side and know where those good beaches are. Like Lidgate is a really good go-to for kids and family, and just beautiful beach. I was just talking to a client that was there the other day, and they just so love that area and being able to go to Lidgate. There's also a great chocolate farm there if you haven't been. But mountains, valleys, and volcanoes, Maui is gonna bring that Haleakala, right? That beautiful drama that takes place just going up there. You can go up it, you can go down it, you can fly over it. I'm doing something with my clients that are on the cruise ships, and they're actually going to be doing a bike down. So we've coordinated a bike down, even if you're on the cruise ship. And by the way, if you're on that cruise ship, give me a call, because you want to get away from those set tours that the cruise line wants to put you in, and I can help you with that. If you know anybody who needs help with the cruise, we can take them outside of the NCL typical cruises that you do. I mean, the tours that they do, they bring you around like cattle on those things. So we can definitely do that and make it better. But Maui's waterfalls, the Road to Hana, again, worth the trip. But again, these are a long day, all day affair. So this is kind of I know I'm getting a little repetitive with my stuff from last week, but I just wanted to emphasize it because just came up again this week, this whole idea of which is prettier. Vibes, thinking about the vibe, luxury versus laid back. Maui leans towards upscale comfort, luxury resorts, except if you get in the Hona Kauai area, up in that stretch in Hona Kauai, we have a lot of condos, and then also on Kihei. But in general, you're going to find your bigger, luxurious resorts in Wailea. It's more expensive there, I think, in general than Kauai is. You got some great restaurants and lots of nature. If you want something more laid back, Kauai, smaller resorts. They can't build places up over the height of a coconut tree, smaller resorts, more vacation. I would say they do have some vacation rentals, but I think there are more per capita, if you think about all of the condos that are on the Coconut Coast and then down in Poipu. But there is just no life, and it's pretty much ends, with stargazing every night, if you will. Weather, Maui usually has more consistent sunshine, especially in Wailea and Kihei. Kauai is rainier, especially up north that we were just talking about, but that's why it's so lush, winter trips, expect a little more rain on Kauai, although last year we didn't have it. I don't know. It just seems like it's just every other year we get these terrible Decembers. It can happen, and there can be fronts that are moving through. Costs, Maui is a little more pricier, especially Wailea and Kapalua, but it's also easier to get to. There's more air lift, and we talked about that last time as well. There as well. Kauai is a little more budget friendly, I would say, but the flights often route through Honolulu to get back out. It's hard to get back straight out of Kauai. So sometimes we take people to Oahu and then back to the mainland from there. So defining pretty, which is prettier, the truth is neither or both, or it depends on, what you find is beautiful. Maui has that beauty and that variety, and Kauai has that wildness. It feels raw, as I was mentioning. So if you can do both, that would be a very good contrast, Maui and Kauai. So that would be my best advice to you. If you really can't decide, do both. You'll get the best of both worlds with these two islands. I am going to be talking about multi-island trips. I talk about them every year, and there's a lot to that if you're planning on doing more than one island. But if you can do it, if you can work it out, try to do both islands if you can. Then deciding which is prettier, you can tell me what you think. And by the way, I would love to hear from you. Make sure you reach out to me, Bruce, at hawaii-aloha.com. Get over to our website and interact with us. Please share this podcast and what we're doing here. We're a local business, and we've been in business for 22 years, and this is all we do is book Hawaii vacations. So that's going to do it. That's going to wrap it up here. For my beautiful wife, Yaling, and all of us here at Hawaii Aloha Travel, I'll say aloha and mahalo.